And here in the United States, former President Donald Trump has a new plan to tackle America's growing fentanyl crisis. If re-elected, the presumptive Republican nominee reportedly wants to send kill squads into Mexico to eliminate leaders of drug cartels. Reports say Donald Trump wants to do this with or without the consent of the Mexican government. However, U.S. military experts warn against attacking Mexico, saying that this would have limited impact on the drug trade and harm diplomatic ties between the two neighbors. Our next report explains more of Donald Trump's hit squad and what it means for Mexico and U.S.-Mexico relations.
Another day, another controversy swirling around former U.S. President Donald Trump. The presumptive Republican nominee wants to tackle America's growing fentanyl crisis by waging a war. Trump reportedly plans to send assassination squads into Mexico to kill the leaders of drug cartels. That is if he is re-elected to the White House. According to reports, the 77-year-old believes that the U.S. military has tougher killers than Mexican troops, and they can be used against the criminal gangs fueling the drug crisis in his country. Once rarely used outside hospitals, fentanyl has become a street drug across the U.S. It is made by gangs, often in Mexico, from cheap chemicals usually manufactured in China. Some 70,000 Americans lost their lives due to the overdose of the drug in 2023 alone. Now, Trump is yet to announce the full extent of his plans to combat the drug emergency. However, the plan reportedly involves deploying special U.S. forces with or without the Mexican government's consent. Reports say Trump hasn't discussed specific details such as how many American troops would be sent into Mexican territory. But he argues that killing the kingpins of the most powerful cartels would seriously damage their ability to supply drugs to America. Trump has even wondered why similar hits have not been carried out by the U.S. government before. The former president believes that the U.S. should have a quote-unquote kill list of drug lords, which would be assigned to the assassination squads to kill or capture. He has even compared his plan to the U.S. military raid he ordered in 2019. Which resulted in the death of ISIS leader Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi. Trump, who is on a campaign trail ahead of November's presidential election, has vowed to crack down on drug cartels in his 2024 policy proposals. Trump says he would order the U.S. Defense Department to make appropriate use of special forces, cyber warfare, and other overt and covert actions to inflict maximum damage on cartel leadership, infrastructure, and operations. Now, the idea of military action in Mexico is not just being floated by Trump. It appears to have growing appeal among other Republican politicians. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis says that he would order special forces to enter Mexico on day one if he were ever the president. Last year, Republican Senators Lindsey Graham and John Neely backed a legislation that would give the military the authority to go after the drug cartels wherever they exist. This proposal was denounced by Mexican President Andrés Manuel López Obrador as an offense to the people of Mexico. Meanwhile, U.S. military experts warn against attacks in Mexico, saying this would have limited impact on the drug trade and harm diplomatic ties between the two nations. Last year, General Mark Milley, the former chairman of the U.S. military's Joint Chiefs of Staff, said that invading Mexico was a bad idea. But will that stop the former president from waging war against Mexico's drug cartels if Trump makes a return to the White House?
Firstpost reports from the world's second largest continent. Hello, I'm Alison LaGrange. A very warm welcome from Durban, South Africa. We get you the news and the newsmakers from Africa. South Africa goes to the polls on the 29th of May. I will track the election and bring you ground reports. Is it the end of the road for the African National Congress? And will former President Jacob Zuma stage a dramatic comeback? From elections to climate change, to innovations and opportunities. As the world's attention shifts, we report from Africa, the heart of the global South. Join me every weekday live on Firstpost.